Imagine you're 28 and all you want is to be a painter because every time you hold a brush, you feel something magical inside you. But here's the problem. You haven't had an income in years. You're basically surviving with your brother's help. Most days you'd rather skip meals than feel the weight of being a burden. You know painting probably won't pay the bills, but you keep going. By the way, you're Vincent van Gogh. Now, wait a second. Are you really the only one who feels this way? Do we actually stop reaching our dreams after 30? Or is it that when we finally get there, it doesn't feel the way we thought it would? If that's true, then what about the people who did make it after 30? What did they do differently? Let's look at an interesting experiment. Back in 2009, a psychologist named Lisa Feldman Barrett and her team ran a study. The setup was simple, but the results were strange. They asked two groups of people to learn a new path in a problem-solving game. The first group was 18 to 25 years old. The second was 35 to 50. The rule was simple. Every time they made a mistake, they'd get feedback on what the right path was. So what happened? The younger group messed up, learned from it, adapted, and quickly got good at the game. The older group, some of them, even after being told their path was wrong, still repeated the same mistake over and over. Why? Because their old mental patterns were so deeply wired that new ones struggled to stick. See, our brains build what are called neural pathways. Repeat a thought long enough and your brain turns it into a 6-lane highway. Fast, automatic, effortless. But try adding a brand new thought. That's like trying to build a muddy trail through a jungle. It's hard, messy, slow. But is that really the end of the story? Or is it just resistance, the painful part right before growth? Look at Van Gogh. He never lived to know he'd become one of the greatest painters in history. His work is displayed across the globe. Millions are inspired by it. And yet, why do so many people with brilliance, talent, and vision erased during their lifetimes? Was it their fault? Or was society just not ready for them? Society expects you to follow its timeline. Career set by 30, married by 35, house by 40, and if you fall even one step behind, you're branded a failure. But creativity does not follow a stopwatch. A creative mind works at its own pace. Some people don't even care about recognition. They just create, even when nobody's watching. Van Gogh painted more than 800 works without selling a single one. Kafka literally asked for his writings to be destroyed after his death. They weren't chasing likes. They weren't even chasing immortality. They were chasing something deeper, a meaning, an inner voice that refused to be silenced. In the brilliant book The Long Game, Dorie Clark talks about wave riding. The idea is simple. Trends start quietly, like a ripple deep in the ocean. Most people ignore it until the wave is already huge and obvious. But by then, it's too late. The best opportunities are gone. Long game players are the ones who jump on when it's just a tiny ripple. That's exactly what people like J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates did. They jumped early when others were too busy polishing their skills to notice, because skills and talent matter. But they're not enough. You've got to spot the wave before it's obvious. Now, you might be wondering, okay, cool, but how do I actually spot these waves before it's too late? Great question. And here's the secret. Every wave always follows the same 3 phases. Always. Phase 1, total ignorance. Something new appears, a tech, an idea, a lifestyle, and everyone says, this is dumb, useless, a waste of time. But a few people take the leap here. Huge risk, but huge potential reward. Phase 2, mockery. Now some people start taking it seriously. The rest? They laugh, ridicule, dismiss. But the ones who stay strong in this phase start building space for themselves and for everyone who will eventually follow. Phase 3. Fierce competition. Suddenly, everyone wakes up. The market is crowded, overhyped, saturated. And at this point, the best chances are gone. If you want to truly benefit, you've got to jump in during Phase 1 or Phase 2. If you wait for Phase 3, forget it. That's why so many people spend 5 years here, 10 years there, bouncing between paths, and then suddenly realize they've been busy their whole life, but never actually built anything. So here's what we've learned so far. People who succeed after 30 first and foremost believe in themselves, not society's timeline. Our brains do resist change after a certain age, but it's not impossible. History is full of creators who kept going without applause, and every big wave starts with being ignored, not with being praised. But here's the most important insight. Carl Jung, one of the founding fathers of psychology, once said, "The real life of a human being begins at 40. Before that, you're just doing the rehearsal." At first, I thought that was just a comforting quote for late bloomers, but after digging into Jung's philosophy, I realized he was dead serious. Before 40, most of us are busy playing roles, wearing masks, building careers, degrees, relationships, not necessarily for ourselves, but to meet the expectations of others. We're actors in a play we didn't write. But after 40, if you're lucky enough to wake up, you stop playing their game and start building your own. That's when you ask the scariest, most important question. Is this really me? Or just who I've been told to be? And that's when real life begins. Not with fireworks, not with drama, but maybe with a pause, a reflection, a small but powerful decision. This video isn't here to promise you success, because the truth is, nobody knows. Some of us won't make it even at 30, 40, or 50. And that doesn't always mean failure. Sometimes it just means the picture of who you really are is still forming. But here's the dark side. A lot of people never get the recognition they truly deserve. Call it fate, chance, karma, whatever. The world is often unfair, and it doesn't owe us anything. That's something many of us only learn after 40, that the world owes us nothing, and once we accept that, we stop waiting for miracles and start building our own. So the real question is, if you're sitting there, scrolling endlessly, feeling like you're behind, stop for a second. Forget the Instagram illusions. Ask yourself, is life really just some video game where you're supposed to collect points? And even if it is, remember, life doesn't have a save button. You don't get to reload from yesterday. The move you make tomorrow matters more than the mistake you made yesterday. Life is messy, unfair, exhausting, but also open. And if you want to step onto your own wave, the best time to start is now. Ride the wave of your life. This is where you get inspired, discover new ideas, and learn how to turn every setback into growth. Stay with us, hit subscribe, and never miss a chance to level up your life.